Hey guys, welcome back. I'm so excited to be back with you guys this Wednesday. I just look forward to these videos every week, and I'm just so excited. And it is Wednesday, it's the middle of the week, and normally, Wednesdays are just like so refreshing for me because it's just like filling back up, right? It's like you have Sunday and you have church, and then you go through your week, and it's like your battery on your phone or your tablets, right? A lot of you guys have phones and tablets, and your battery starts to die, right? And what do you guys got to do? You plug it up, right? You stick the charger in. And normally when my phone gets about halfway, I plug it up because I don't like it to get like past halfway, because then I feel like it'll die really fast. And that's kind of like us, right? So Wednesday is our recharge day. So let's recharge. Let's go ahead and begin. So I want to know, have you guys ever made an excuse for why you couldn't do something? So when I was a little girl, and even a teenager, I was the queen of excuses. So if my parents asked me to do anything, I always had a reason, always had an excuse. If teachers or if anybody, and I didn't want to do it, I had the excuse. I was the queen of excuses. So have you guys ever made an excuse to God? So have you guys ever felt like God was asking you to do something, or God was specifically telling you something, and you had excuses for him? So I definitely have been there. I'm sure many of us have. So I've specifically heard the Lord asking me to do certain things, and I made excuses. I was trying to bargain with the Lord. Like, wait a second, Lord, let me do this first, and then I'll do what you're asking me to do. Well, I'll take care of that later. You just sit back and I'll take care of it. And that's how I approached the situation. Like, that's how I approached what God was asking me to do. And it turned out to be so wrong. And so sometimes God asks us to do really hard things, right? He asks us to do things that just kind of seem, too much, right? And sometimes we feel like it is just not doable, right? We feel like it's too hard. So we pretend, we pretend that we didn't hear what God was saying. And so we make excuses, right? We make excuses as to why we can't listen, and why we can't do the things that he's asking us to do. It's like when he's telling us specific things, we like myself, I pretended, oh, well, he doesn't mean right now, or he'll let me slide a little. He'll give me a few days. And that's not the case. When God asks us to do something, he wants us to listen and obey, right? And so when we don't listen and we make excuses, what we're really saying is that we don't trust the Lord, right? And so today we are going to hear a story about how this very same thing happened to Moses. So let's begin. Okay, so last week we learned how Moses was his mom, how Pharaoh said that there was not to be any Israelite babies, right? And so Moses' mother put him in a basket, a waterproof basket, and sent him down the river, right? And so we learned that Pharaoh's daughter found him and also adopted him. So he became adopted into the royal family. He was Pharaoh's grandson, right? So as Moses gets older, Moses leaves Egypt, right? And he becomes a shepherd. And a shepherd, anybody know what a shepherd is? A shepherd is somebody that takes care of a flock, right? Takes care of the sheep. So he became a shepherd. And so one day, while he was tending to a flock of sheep, he came across a bush. And this bush was like no other bush because it was on fire. And so it caught Moses' attention because not only was it on fire, but it wasn't burning. So Moses stopped to look at it. He actually heard the voice of God. So he heard the voice of God say, Moses, the people of Egypt are suffering and I want you to help them. But Moses felt very insecure about himself and he felt like he wasn't the right person. And so he also had a stutter. And so he just felt like, who am I? I'm nobody. And so he tried to bargain with God, tried to give God all these excuses. But God, no, it's not me. I'm not the one. And so God said, don't worry, Moses, I'll be with you, And so he told Moses to tell the people that God sent God sent Moses, so he told Moses to tell people God sent me, right? And so Moses was still unsure and he still had excuses and he still was trying to bargain with God and give God all these, lame excuses, right? And so God said, what is in your hands? And Moses said, well, it's a staff. And God told Moses to throw his staff on the ground, right? And so when Moses obeyed and threw his staff on the ground, it turned into a snake. And so then God told Moses to grab it by its tail, right? And so when Moses picked up the snake, even though he was unsure, he picked it up. And I would be afraid. How many of you are scared of snakes? I am. I would be petrified. Moses did. He picked it up, and it turned back into the staff. And so God told Moses that he gave him a mouth to speak, right? And so Moses kept insisting, please, God, send somebody else. Send somebody else. I'm not the one. There's got to be somebody else. Well, so God finally said, okay, you know what, Moses? I'm going to send your brother Aaron to speak for you. And so Moses went back to his father-in-law, right? And Moses told him that he needed to go back to Egypt. And so Moses and his family, they packed up, they went back to Egypt, and he carried his staff with him. And so the entire way. And so the staff actually is going to be the tool that God uses to demonstrate his power to the Egyptians and the Israelites, because there's going to be some doubts, right? There's going to be people that are questioning Moses and questioning what he's saying. And so God is going to use Moses and God is going to use the staff as the tool to demonstrate his power. So that is so cool and so exciting, and it's just going to get more exciting from here. We have some awesome things coming up. So this story is one of the best stories. So we're going to stop here and we're going to continue next week, and you're not going to want to miss next week's because it gets super interesting. So parents, there is a video that goes along with this story, and it is called Moses and the Burning Bush, Exodus 2-3. So that's the video. Look that video up, and it goes along with this teaching. Also, guys, I have a memory verse for you guys. So I want you guys to memorize Exodus 3:14, and I want you guys to memorize that, okay? That is a really good scripture to know. And like I said, this is an awesome story. So I also have some awesome crafts that I did. So first, what is the thing that God asked Moses to throw on the ground? Do you guys remember? Right, his staff. And so what I did is I made my own little mini staff. And so what I did was I took a straw and I wrapped it in some twine. So if you don't have twine, you could use like anything. Like you could take an old paper towel roll and wrap it around and glue it, or you could take like maybe some old like twigs and try to wrap those. That'll be pretty cool. Or you could take like some sticks from outside and try to bend them. If you stick like wood in water and let it soak for a few hours, it's easy to bend. And so you could do that. You could get a stick, soak it in water, and bend it in the shape of a staff, right? But what I did was I just took some twine and glued it and made a staff. So that's my little mini staff. So now all I need is a little mini Moses. Maybe I'll make him next. Okay, and so also what I have is, that's right, I made the burning bush. And so what I did is I took construction paper. If you guys don't have construction paper, that's okay. You can take regular paper and color it like a bush or a tree. And then I also had some tissue paper from like old presents, you know, that I had kept. And if you guys don't have that, that's okay. You could take construction paper also and color it. Construction paper or regular paper and color it. Or like streamers, if you have leftover streamers from a party. Or you could even do, you know, cut up old balloons. I mean, you could do so many things, different things to make fire. And so I just glued the wrapping, the stuffing, present stuffing, to the back of it. And so that's my burning bush. Isn't that pretty cool? And so these are reminders of our story and what God is going to do and how he's going to use Moses. And so I am really excited to continue this story. Next Wednesday, we're going to get into the plagues, and let me tell you, that is some cool stuff. And so I'm really excited. So I love you guys. I cannot wait for the next video. I will see you guys Sunday. Make sure you guys are checking the videos out, liking and subscribing to our YouTube channel, New Life Kidz with a Z, and also sharing our videos. Share with your friends. Tell your friends about the video. And if you guys, like I said before, if you guys have told your friends about our videos and they've subscribed to our channel, I want you guys to tell me, because I'm going to give you a prize, okay? So whoever gets the most people to subscribe to our New Life Kidz channel gets a prize. And let me just tell you, I went to the store yesterday and I bought everything. I bought all kinds of cool stuff. So you are not going to want to miss out on this prize. So invite your friends. If you get a lot of friends to subscribe, you get a grand prize, okay? All right, well, I love you guys, and I will see you soon. I don't hear my dog. She's being really quiet. That must mean she's getting into some trouble. So I need to go check on her. Okay, well, I love you guys, and I'll see you Sunday.